Hi guys, I'm Afni and I welcome you here. So I'm back with a weekly news roundup, and the very first news is that Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban is facing criticism from the European Union leaders for his unannounced visit to Russia and China, which they see as a misuse of Hungary's rotating EU presidency. Orban, who was known for his close ties with Russian President Vladimir Putin, claimed his trips were a part of a peace mission to end the war in the Ukraine, and in response, some of the EU countries and the European Union boycotted an informal meeting in the Budapest. Critics argue that Orban's actions undermine EU unity and have called for Hungary to lose its voting rights in the EU Council. The second news is that at least five people were killed and dozens were injured in a violent clashes at the university campuses in Bangladesh over a government job quota scheme. The violence erupted at Jahangirnagar University near Dhaka, where police fired tear gases and charged protesters with batons. Protesters demanded the end of the quota system, favoring war veterans' families, arguing that it is discriminatory. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's government supports the quota, which has sparked continuous protests. Despite recent court interventions, the clashes continue, with students blocking roads and railways, leading to widespread injuries and disruptions. The situation remains tense as protests persist. The third news is that the China and the Philippines have reached a significant agreement to end the confrontations at the disputed Second Thomas Shoal in the South China Sea. The deal announced Sunday by the Philippine government follows a series of meetings and exchanges of diplomatic relation notes between the two nations. Both sides aims to de-escalate tensions and manage differences through dialogue without conceding territorial claims. The agreement seeks to prevent hostile clashes which have previously escalated fears of broader conflicts involving the United States. Details of the deals have not been disclosed, but it marks a hopeful step towards stability in the region. The fourth news is that under the pressure from the US, Israel agreed to deliver substantial humanitarian aid to Gaza, but tax deductible donations are allowed to far right groups that hinder this aid. Three such groups, which include some accused of looting, raised over $200,000 from the US and Israeli donors. These donations contradict the stated aims of both the countries to ensure essential supplies reaches Gaza. Despite Israel's claim of unrestricted aid, these groups block aid deliveries, revealing inconsistencies in the policy. The US State Department remains committed to facilitating aid, but Israeli officials have not commented on the fundraising activities of these groups. The fifth news is that former Peruvian President Alberto, who was pardoned for his convictions related to corruption and murder, plans to run for the presidency again in 2026, despite Peruvian law prohibiting individuals with corruption convictions from running for office. His daughter Kiko announced his candidacy. Fujimori, who was served from 1990 to 2000 and was known for his authoritarian rule, has faced multiple corruption charges and owes $15 million to the treasury. He joined his daughter's party, Furza Popular, and has been working on rebuilding his image since his release from the prison under a revived presidential pardon. The sixth news is that Pakistan's counterterrorism police have arrested Amin ul Haq, an Al Qaeda leader, and close aide to Osama bin Laden. Deputy Inspector General of the Police Usman Gondal announced the arrest, which took place in Punjab province after a lengthy search. Haq, listed on a UN sanction list for his connections to the Al Qaeda, was captured near Jhelum. He's accused of financing the terrorist groups and supplying arms to the insurgents. Pakistan has a history of arresting high profile Al Qaeda members and turning them over to the US, actions that have incited militant retaliations within the country. The seventh news is that a global outage caused by a software glitch from cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike has paralyzed Microsoft 365 apps, affecting airlines, banks, hospitals, and other business houses worldwide. Over 3,000 flights were cancelled in the US alone, with more than 42,000 delayed globally. Hospitals postponed surgeries and delivery services experienced delays. CrowdStrike identified this issue in its antivirus software and is working on a fix, stating that it is not a security breach. Microsoft has completed mitigation actions, but some systems may take days to fully recover as the problem must be manually resolved on each affected endpoint. The eighth news is that a Tunisian court sentenced presidential candidate Lutfi Marahi to 8 months in prison and banned him from running elections for life. accusing him of vote buying in 2019. This move, seen as part of President Kais Saied's crackdown on opponents, comes ahead of the October elections, which critics labels a sham. Marahi, who also faces money laundering charges, plans to appeal. His lawyer aims to keep him in the race to challenge Sayed. Tunisia's election authority confirmed Lotfi intent to gather necessary signature to remain a candidate despite court's ruling. Thank you and follow me for more.